Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 447.
447.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. We're talking, I don't want to say all about the Disney Wish today. It is all about the Disney Wish, but not all about our 4 days. But we will be talking about it in also future shows.
Right, this is just part one.
Right, and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, they had booked us for the trip. And Becky right now is sailing on the Norwegian Prima. They are cruise specialists, and we really recommend them. Disney specialists and cruising specialists. Check out their website at meitravel.com.
And here we are entering the Disney Wish for our second cruise, this time a 4-night cruise.
Right, and the first one was the media cruise. I'm looking at my hair. I didn't realize it gets so humid, and it could have used a brush.
Never mind all that. We're entering our stateroom for the very first time, and it was your birthday on this day, and look at these nice welcoming decorations.
This is actually the second time, because we looked and it was like, wow, we're going to need to show this, so we had to come back out, and I thought this was amazing. Like, this is a Celebration at Sea package, and it is something you purchase. And MEI Travel had purchased it for us, which I thought was a big surprise for me. I really loved this. And you get the towel, and they call it a scarf. It's like a plush Pluto that, it's like they say it's a scarf, but
you could use it as a scarf.
Yeah,
Maybe
but you can use it for other stuff too.
You could wrap that thing around your neck.
No. And then 2 pillowcases, and then room decor.
Nice too, good quality. All the items are of very good quality.
And also that dry erase door magnet. And it wasn't, I think, on the Disney Wish site to order for quite some time, but before it was like 82, and now it shows 95. Like, it just appeared back on it. So to me, it's still worth it if you want to surprise somebody. Oh, and this is our Disney Wish inaugural sailing items for Disney being a gold member, right? Yeah. Since we're almost at platinum, so we are going to need to take another cruise soon.
Yes.
Not the
That's
Disney.
A fine idea. Next time
Disney
we'll do
Fantasy.
the fantasy. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since we've been on that one.
And so we had the deluxe stateroom with veranda. Mm-hmm. And so
we're on the port side here. Nice view of the cruise line terminal, Disney Cruise Line Terminal.
It was great when we sailed out.
And we parked right there.
It's very convenient, yes. So our room was Cinderella themed, and we're just kind of taking a quick look. I don't know how much we're going to be showing. But
well, I'm actually going to show what it looks like without all your birthday decorations, and here it is. This is what the normal room as you enter looked like.
And we had received last time a family stateroom, a little bit. It's a little bit bigger. So I actually really enjoyed having that extra little bit of room. Right.
It's like Comfort Plus on Delta. You get used to having more room. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go back for less room.
And this isn't bad for a room, but it's
fine if you don't know about the more room.
At some point we might get that one also, just for that little extra. So again, the various staterooms have different themes. This one, and the big difference is really just that artwork.
This is something I really like. The refrigerator, the slide out
beverage
refrigerator,
cooler,
right? It's a beverage cooler, not a refrigerator.
I think they would call it more of a beverage cooler. And even like if you bring champagne on board, and you are allowed to bring 2 bottles of wine or 2 bottles of champagne per person, or 6 beers per person.
And we'll show some of that being enjoyed as we sail.
For the champagne, it just doesn't get quite cold like putting it in ice.
Right. That's true.
So it's nice for.
Well, it was pretty cold, but it wasn't ice cold.
Right. Like for champagne, like for wine, it's fine. For champagne, I think I like a little bit more chilled. So H2O, I'm sure everybody knows
so
H2O
sad.
Plus is going away. I don't know how long it will be in the Disney resorts.
I just want to thank Denise for making a giant purchase for me. I think I have 8 large H2O,
bottles.
so my hair will be enjoying H2O goodness for at least a couple years, I hope.
I just can't believe the company is going away.
Sad, so sad.
You've been using it, like we buy it for
10 years. Over 10 years, over a decade, I think.
I don't think we've been buying it that long, but we have been buying it for years. And so Amazon had it, and then I think Shop Disney actually had a little bit of a sale.
Oh,
on it.
I also want to mention I'm just turned on this little night light. Very handy at night, rather than leaving the bright light on and the second. They always have a divided restroom and shower,
Right.
which is
Well,
very handy.
With most staterooms, I think with the inside staterooms, not. I've never had an inside stateroom, but I believe that's just one restroom.
Oh, and I just showed the robes. I actually used the robe this time. It came in very handy.
I did
So
not.
now that we've looked at the room, we did all that, it's time for lunch, and we're heading to Marceline Market for lunch, and we're going to take a look at some of the offerings.
And Marceline Market it's their food, food court. Like it would be your buffet, but it's not a buffet where you would usually scoop anything yourself. There's a little bit of that, but not very much. You go to the counter and you ask for an item, and then they give it to you.
And they'll give you whatever you want. You could tell them you want a whole giant overflowing plate of shrimp, and
Did
they
you
will
say that?
accommodate that.
I didn't ask for, like, they gave me a lot of bacon each time. I'd be like, oh, I'd like some bacon. And, I'm used to maybe like 2 pieces, and I'd get like 10. So
That's true.
Yeah, I have to tell them next time, not as much. And some items,
These are the kids' items that
Right.
we're looking at, by the way.
of course, for kids or adult kids.
Or kids at heart. This is where you'd get the Mickey Mouse
Waffles. But
for breakfast.
we found that some of the better fruit and some of the seafood is like deeper back. Like you have to keep going back.
This
for
is
it.
as far back as you can go right here.
Well-
and it was my favorite part because I like all this seafood you mentioned.
But like I didn't realize it was in Marceline Market, some of this, and we had to keep going back. Just sort of like, are you going to show the outdoor area?
I am, but not in this episode.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll show it another
for
time.
a future episode when we fully cover it. Because I think the best time we enjoyed that area was breakfast on the Castaway Day, and I covered it better that day, so we're going to show it that day.
Marceline Market has a fabulous outdoor area, and I had dined here a couple times on the previous cruise, and then at least once without knowing about it on this cruise. But it's wonderful.
These salads are very good. When you're not super hungry, great to pick up a salad. I just showed
like
the
those
Chinese
salads.
section, and here comes the dessert section.
There is, there's a very nice selection, and again, like I read that sometimes people are waiting in line. I didn't have to wait in line ever for very long.
Never for at any of both cruises. It was always very easy to get.
I thought so. So I guess maybe it depends what time you go, but it was really good for us.
So after lunch, we headed up, and it was time to let's set sail on the Disney Dream. We waited probably about 20 minutes because we wanted to get a front row spot. Totally worth it. I love this welcome show. It was hot. It's full sun. There's no shade here. Worth it, though.
Honestly, like if you want to get a good spot, and the thing is, I'm not just talking about front row, but anywhere around the upper deck, that seemed to be really the place that guests were going because they wanted to look down
Right.
and see all of the show. So get there a little bit early, but I think most people had a pretty good viewing of it. So you have the royal couples, and again, really high energy. Flynn and Rapunzel, you had Fairy Godmother and Moana, and of course then you have captains Minnie and Mickey.
Such a nice, again, I had a huge smile on my face the whole time. It's a great way to kick off a nice cruise.
And guests really, you could tell they really loved it.
And there's quite a bit of energy put in by all the dancers. And I did notice a lot of the same dancers, the regular dancers, also performed in the pirate show, that high energy rock and roll pirate show, because I compared the two after I did the editing, and they work hard out there.
And of course, some of the performers who are in the shows on stage, in the theater are in. I don't know about in this, but in the pirate one.
So we had a different cruise director. That's why I wanted to kind of wait and show his arrival here. This is do you happen to remember his name?
I don't remember his name. Ashley. There's Ashley Lange.
She was the one from the media, the original cruise
Right,
director.
so-
She's in the book if you buy the Disney Wish book.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be our cruise director, but
He was
good.
great. He was high
great.
energy. He was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed having a different one.
Yeah, it was, I've never had a bad cruise director on any cruise ever. They always, that's, their job is to
That's
make
true.
it fun for everybody. So anyway, here is Again, captains, Minnie and Mickey. I love the Minnie's, the red outfit. It's funny because if you buy the plush of them, though, they're both blue, and I don't know why Minnie isn't red.
So we are now sailing. We have actually gone back to our stateroom, and we are setting sail for real. And we're looking back at the Disney Cruise Line, and you can see they're waving. Some of the staff there waving us. Our cast members probably waving goodbye.
I really like being on the veranda for this, to be able to just kind of sit on our veranda, and we enjoyed some champagne.
Well, last time we were on the other side, so it was actually even better to be on the port side here, to be able to sort of see all this, all the excitement of setting sail. And speaking of excitement, I had to break open that first, not exactly freezing cold bottle of champagne, and here it is.
I was like,
it's
where
a
is
mum.
it? Well, we first had Mum at the Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic, a preview, and then we ended up going to the Mum Champagne House in Ron's.
Thanks to our good friends Cindy and Tom.
Cindy, yes. And that was amazing. It's really my favorite.
It's become a favorite of ours.
It has become a favorite champagne, and I wasn't really drinking champagne before, and we don't drink a lot of it.
You want to
It's
hear
not
something
cheap.
very sad? Very sad?
What?
There is no Mum in the house at all.
That's
that was the
sad.
last bottle.
Well,
so
when
we'll
it
have
goes-
to rectify that problem.
When it goes on sale.
Fish lips. I love fish lips.
Well, we haven't been there in years, and you talked about going, but it's like when you get off the cruise, we have all this, we have our computer equipment, everything, and we've just eaten so much food
Right.
that you don't necessarily want to go to a restaurant. So we're going to have to go over there.
I would like to take a trip up there, not
Yes.
going on a cruise, and just enjoying the goodness
Fish
of
lips, we've been there a number of times, and the food has always been excellent.
So our rotation for the first night this time, we started with Worlds of Marvel, and we already did a full review of that in a previous episode. I'm just going to kind of update a few things. This is the shawarma, which is really like the lamb salad, and I had done some research and found out this was one of the better items. I really like this. I thought this was a very solid item for my dinner, so I just wanted to report that. I saw our friend Catherine, who was on the cruise, also order this and liked
nice.
it. So much better than the choice I had on the first night. And here is the finale of an evening there. It is Ant-Man and the Wasp. They make a very, very brief appearance, and that was one of our things. We'd have liked to see a little bit more with the live characters.
And also I would like to see them really lean into that, maybe big, small items like, Pym Kitchen at Disneyland Paris, and also Pym Test Kitchen at Anaheim, because the food, for me, the food is not great. Like I ended up getting just a plain chicken.
Well, that's why I showed something,
that you like that,
good.
right? But it would be nice to kind of get more themed food.
So now we are at day 2, and first thing in the morning, I woke up and rope dropped the Aqua Mouse because I had been told that was the best way, and it turned out to be true. I'm going to do Swiss Meltdown on this day. I had done this one previously on the media cruise. We will show the other version, the Scuba Scramble, and that'll be the next day, and it'll be the next show. But what made this one very unique and very different is all the squirting effects worked as I was going up the ramp, and that was not turned on during the media cruise. So it made it a challenge to record it because the water kept covering. I had to keep wiping the camera, but it really added a more fun element. If you like to get wet, I don't think you would want to be squirted. You would prefer the other way, going up the ramp.
And the Aqua Mouse, I remember from the media cruise, was off and down. Like for hours on end, it was down.
I talked to them, and that has been resolved. It was running. They told me they ran it for a full day, and it only stopped once. That was their best day, and that was recently. So that has really improved since the media cruise. Here we are, and you'll see some of these squirts. I'm not going to show the whole ramp. I will keep some of that for surprises. But you're getting a story with mainly Mickey and Minnie, and you saw the squirt there, and it kind of got on my lens, and then this one's going to get me over here.
It doesn't look like a lot of squirting.
Oh
though.
No, trust me, I just had to wipe it off. Watch, you'll see like more comes. This one here, a lot comes down, and there were some of them are like a heavy squirt like that, and other times it's more of a mist.
And I
so
didn't
it's
ride
different.
it. I have never ridden it, so I'm not really. I don't do too much with water slides.
But you know what?
Jeff has
at least,
to do it.
At least it has a story. It's
Yes.
very different. They call it an attraction at sea.
First Disney attraction at sea.
So now we're going to go into the more fun. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. First, you're going into a dark tunnel, and then you're going to have some illumination. But then you're going to come out, and we'll see that the coaster aspect of it, kind of like what they have over at Typhoon Lagoon, where the water kind of forces you up. So it's really fun, and some great views when you get into this plexiglass. You can see we're actually at sea, so you're looking out, you're seeing the ocean. Very, very nice views, and I think I took this of just a random raft going by, just so people can kind of see what that's like. And here is the splashdown finale, and you'll be greeted by Mickey and Minnie, and my favorite, Chip and Dale, that you saw up close on the last day of our last cruise.
I took video of you too, but maybe
that's
on the next one.
You'll see that on the Scuba Scramble. That was our the day we went to Nassau. So that'll be on a future show.
Right, in 2 to 3 weeks,
yeah,
probably.
Probably 2 weeks or so.
Because next week we're going to talk about Disneyland.
We're going to the D23 Expo, and we're going to see Halloween there. So we'll have to get back to our Wish cruise. There's just so much to cover, so I couldn't squeeze it in. But first, we're going to look at the Princess Meet and Greet. I hadn't done one of these in a very long time, and it's totally changed how you attend one of these. So I'll have Denise explain how that goes.
Well, it's called the Royal Gathering. I think the Royal Gathering of Princesses, and it needs to be pre-booked about 30 days ahead. And we actually, we weren't really looking for activities and things.
I just didn't know.
I didn't know.
It's sort of like the Hyperspace Lounge, but different, because you can book this before you even get on the ship. Where the Hyperspace, you can't book that one until you actually are connected to Wi-Fi. Anyway, and as we're looking at the princesses here, it's kind of nice because you have one line, but then you can meet and get a picture with all of the 5 princesses in one shot. So that part is good. I showed up there, and it was sort of the end of the session.
I had
no idea about any of this, and she showed me on the app, and of course everything was sold out. And the cast members we had a couple people that didn't show up. You can just jump in line. So that was so nice, very, very nice, and I was able to experience it. So it was a special bonus.
And really for this cruise, we didn't book any dining ahead of time, although we ended up with a Palo dinner.
Which was a highlight, by the way.
We weren't doing shore excursions, so we really, I was a little negligent to look for activities and such anyway. But yeah, we went through the line, and we were the last.
We were the last. It was funny because after we would get our picture or meet the princesses, like after meeting Moana here, as soon as we went she turns around and walks away. She leaves. By the end, there was nobody there, and this was the last one that we got to meet, Princess Tiana. And she was fun. We talked about beignets. She was telling us to go try some of her beignets at the bar right down the path there.
And she was the first princess that I had noticed, actually, and I was like, there was nobody around her at that time because, I guess the line was moving slowly. So I was thinking of taking a picture, but you couldn't really do that. And so I was surprised because there was nobody there. But then, we found out how it worked.
And really, the only reason we are in the lobby is we are heading to 1923 for our lunch. So after lunch, we came back out and we noticed the classic characters were meeting in their nautical cruise outfits. And the first one here we're meeting is Daisy Duck, and this was upstairs. I learned that you can it's kind of like you can meet them, and then if you time it right, you can go down one deck below, and another character will be right under there, and then they're also meeting at the stage. So you can see them all within maybe less than 2 hours.
During our media cruise, we didn't really see too many characters at all. Like, it was not like this at all.
Yeah, I thought maybe they didn't have a lot of characters on the Disney Wish. Not true. I mean, if you wanted to, you could spend a lot of time with characters. And what I enjoyed about this whole thing is meeting people in line. There was a guy and his daughter, and we kept meeting him. He was from the UK. But every character, he would have a different shirt on. It's like he would have had a Pluto shirt here, and then 10 minutes later, you go to see Mickey, and he's got a Mickey shirt, but he doesn't have a bag or anything. Where are these shirts coming from?
In the stateroom.
Yeah, it turns out he had a close by room. But it was just funny, and it was kind of fun to get to make new friends and get to talking. And of course, Pluto always must be returned to Mickey Mouse if found.
Downstairs. So, but yeah, and I never thought that there wouldn't be, characters. It was just when we did we didn't really know how it worked because the media cruise just wasn't quite like that.
And also, it is still, we were on one of the very last, I guess you could say, distant character meets. So everything could be different now, actually. You might be able to go right up to them and get autographs and all that. At this time, they weren't doing that still.
And for myself, for me, I prefer it. But we saw this little girl who wanted to hug Minnie so much. And you know, so
it's hard to explain. Like, she didn't understand that. No, you have to stand at this spot, this dot on the ground. You can't just go up and hug Minnie. And little kids like that don't understand. Some adults don't understand.
So I think the kids will really love it.
But it was nice to be able to see all the characters, and they did meet at different times. They also met late at night. So I guess this was for if you had the later seating, you could meet them, and then they had a time afterwards
for dining
where it kind of fit in. It was like, this is before you had your meal, and then you meet them later on at night. I think this is from a different time. This may have been after we had our dinner.
And you know what? It reminds me, they used to have a formal night.
Yeah.
So you would have the characters and, like, at least I remember Chip and Dale in their tuxes and such, but you didn't see anything like that on the cruise.
And maybe on a 7-day you would have something like that. They did have photos, like formal and semi-formal photos, but there wasn't really a formal meal unless you were going to Enchante or maybe Apollo.
The Disney cruise used to be much more formal, and it certainly relaxed over the years. So I'm not... it'll be interesting when we do another cruise to see if they do that.
And here is Captain Minnie. So nice to be able to actually see her and get a picture with Captain Minnie herself.
Yeah, again,
most popular. I think the longest line was for the Minnie, for Captain Minnie.
I think Spider-Man.
No, I'm only counting. I'm only talking. Well, speaking of Spider-Man, here he is now.
I didn't know he was coming up quite that soon.
Yeah, he appears in Superhero Academy.
So popular.
Well, we were tipped off. We were told, get there at least 20 minutes early and just wait in the hallway outside, which we did. We were only the second guest to meet him, and by the time we left, the line was insane. But Spider-Man was fun, as he always is, and we told him how we're going to be going to his campus in both California.
You told him. I did not tell him.
You watched the video. We haven't posted it yet, but when we do, you'll hear Denise also telling Spider-Man about it. So she doesn't recall. Sounds very suspicious, if you ask me.
No, but as far as lining up for him, this isn't in the kids area, so they have the open houses, and then they have Spider-Man, and Spider-Man had to have been the most popular, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, no doubt.
The whole cruise.
That was the longest.
Multiple times. He met multiple times, though.
So now we're going to take a very, very quick look at Arendelle. Again, we fully reviewed it. We showed all the food.
The Frozen
and
Dining
everything
Adventure.
the Frozen Dining Adventure in the previous show. So you can, we'll link to that, of course. But I just wanted to show this time we had completely different seating.
A lot closer, so you can really see detail.
You could see their faces. It is a great show. It is a really, really fun show. It's not my favorite food of all the dinner shows.
Neither Marvel for me or this.
This is certainly more repeatable than the Marvel experience. I could see this show, on multiple cruises, where the Marvel one, I think, after the first time, you kind of get the idea.
I love live theater, so and that's what you're getting. You're getting live theater with your meal, and to me, it's a fantastic experience. You're really close to people. That's the one thing it
is packed in. I'll tell you that. It was hard to maneuver through those tables.
But the show, I think, is wonderful. And so the food was just, I don't even remember, honestly, what I had.
You had a chicken dish from the kids' menu. No, you had the kids' pasta.
Oh, that's
what
I had.
Pasta.
It wasn't great either. So, but 1923 had
that
the great
made up
food.
for it.
Yes.
And Palo also.
And Palo.
And
was
many
very
other
nice.
places. Even upstairs, the barbecue was phenomenal. And we'll talk about all that in the next show as well.
Like if I could go to the Marceline Market and bring some food down, if it was even open. It's not open during dinner. But again, the show itself, if you're in the back, you're not going to see it as well as if you're obviously, closer up. But they come around also to those back areas, kind of in between breaks.
Right, and exactly. There's a
not
lot more.
Not for meet and greet.
Right, not for meet and greet, but
they
just
do
interaction
talk.
before the show. So that is another show. We want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Yeah, check them out, meitravel.com, although it's like mei-travel.com officially.
You'll still get there.
And, Becky has been on the cruise 2 or 3 times now, and she bought the $5,000.
6,000 if you
was
include
the
the
tip.
gratuity.
She's going to go to Skywalker Ranch, and she has a write-up, I think, on the site all about...
A very good write-up. When I read that, it really had a good argument for the whole experience.
And we're talking about the Star Wars
the Hyperspace Lounge.
Yes,
There's a special drink, and we had one of the best times at Hyperspace Lounge, and we'll get back to it at that point.
Right. I mean, we talk about a lot about characters today, but we had a fantastic Palo experience. We had a great Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge experience. We had a lot of really good experiences on
the cruise only got better. I mean, night 3 and night 4. So right now we've just covered the highlights of
the first couple
two.
days.
The first full day and then the check-in day. So really, we'll have a lot more to say on the next nights. But as you mentioned earlier, next week we're going to be talking about the D23 Expo. I suspect there might be an announcement or two of interest coming out of there. Plus, we will have Halloween at Disneyland. And we'll be attending the Oogie Boogie Bash.
But I don't know when we'll have a time to talk about that.
Well, I hope to be able to put something together quickly. And, and we can do a show in between the next 2 cruise shows.
Right.
So anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week. We will see you next week. And happy Halloween again!
Don't say that, because there's going to be
happy sailing.
There's 8 more weeks of Halloween. Are you going to say happy Halloween every day?
No. Starting in October, I'm going to change it to
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Holidays. Merry Christmas. All right. We'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.